name is Natascha, and I was born in Hong Kong and moved to Denver, Colorado, and lived there for 1 year. And then moved to Rochester, New York, lived there up until I was 12, when I moved to India and stayed there for 2 years, then moved to Bangkok, Thailand for 3, and now I'm back here. When I was 7, my dad was working for Eastman Kodak Company at the time, and he would travel the world, so he would go everywhere. And when he came back home, he would show me pictures of the children wherever he traveled, and children in poverty. And it has always been my favorite hobby to read. I'm always reading a book. And so when I was only 7 years old, I couldn't imagine a world without books. So I thought, why can't I just take the books that I finished reading and then send them to these kids overseas? And I told my dad about this idea, and he was like, well, go for it, why not? So my parents and I, we would go and do book drives. In my local schools, I would have book drives, and we'd drive around on a Saturday taking our minivan and going to the neighbors and collecting, boxes of books. And we would store them in our garage, and whenever we got up to 1,000 books, we would start raising funds. So I would go and speak at local clubs, like, for example, the Rotary Club. And I would say, I need $500 to send a shipment of books, and they would fund me. And our first shipment of books went to a school in Kenya, Africa, and we sent 1,500 books there. So that all started when I was 7, and it was basically just because my parents raised me on the belief that it's our duty to serve humankind. It's not something to do on the side. It's not something that we do to get into college. It's part of our lives. We saw the tsunami on TV, and we were all sitting in our living room and watching CNN. I think all of us were doing that. And I couldn't imagine sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. So I turned around, I looked at my parents, and I said, can we go? After the month traveling in the southern part of India and Sri Lanka, we came back home. We were deciding what to do, and we decided to start this foundation. So I was 12 at the time, and I became the honorary chairperson and moved to India. After 2 years, we thought, I think this is enough. We're going to try to go somewhere else and spread the foundation's efforts. So we thought, you know what, let's just go to Bangkok. We love the city. We had gone there for vacation. Well, we were in Bangkok for a total of 3 years. Whenever I had a long weekend, I would just take that weekend off, either drive up to Cambodia or, fly into Vietnam, different things like that. We would take the cheapest transportation, just get up there soon, do an extensive foundation weekend where we just find a place to help, we'd plan everything out, get it done, come back so I could be in school on Monday. So it's all about getting other people involved and especially inspiring youth. That's my biggest goal, to inspire other youth to get out there, because youth are going to move the world. It's not the adults, it's us. It's, people at NYU, people in the city. With the foundation, I feel like I'm still learning. I'm only 17, I'm only a freshman, I have lots to learn, but I do know one thing, that I can do it. And so many people have asked me, when I was little, you're only 7, you're only 11, how can you do all of this? You really think you're going to change someone's life? And I tell them, if I change one child's life, that's all that matters. I've done enough.